We need an organization that no one downtown loves. We need one that's ready and willing to take action, any kind of action, not when the man downtown sees fit, but when we see fit, by any means necessary. Dignity is a cold-blooded.
You have called for self-defense units, rifle clubs,
yes.
ready to execute on the spot those who threaten Negroes.
I don't think that I said that.
Yes, you did.
No, I don't think I said that.
All right.
I have called for rifle clubs that I think Negroes should, in areas where the police, whether it be federal, state, or city, have proven their inability or their unwillingness to defend Negroes, the lives and the property of Negroes, then it's only intelligent and it's only right that Negroes protect themselves. And I have encouraged them to buy a rifle and a shotgun, which according to the Constitution is legal.
For what purpose?
Not buy a pistol or something like that, but a rifle or a shotgun, which is constitutionally legal.
For what purpose?
So that at any time, anyone makes any effort whatsoever to brutalize them or attack them or endanger them, they should have something to defend themselves. And in a country that spends, I think, $50 billion a year for defense alone, I'm shocked that there's apprehension over Negroes trying to do something to defend themselves.
Well, who will determine when the Negro is endangered?
I think that if the government is concerned, instead of being so worried about what the Negro is going to do, the government should stop dragging its feet and take the initiative necessary to eliminate the injustices that frustrate Negroes and drive them into a method of defense such as this.
You've said, Minister Malcolm, you have to expect the Negroes to rise up sooner or later.
Oh, yes.
What does that mean?
Well, just the same thing that it meant in South Vietnam and these other.
And he's still in that moving boat. Still in the moving boat.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. What's going on, Cassidra?
What is going on? Ready for this amazing show, as usual.
Yeah, facts. And we're gonna definitely get into it. How was your day today though? Everything was good with you?
Yeah, everything is good. Everything was good. Yes, absolutely. How about with you?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely good. Like you say, every day you still here, so it's
That's
good.
right. Every day above ground, huh?
Yeah.
I tell you, it's getting weird, ain't it? Yeah. What you think them drones are about? I think those are aliens. What you think they are?
I don't really know. It's it could be just somebody. It could be anything. It could be like.
But I think it's your government. I think it's aliens. I do. I don't think it's drones. I think it's, and they've been talking about, I know it sounds crazy, but they've been talking about aliens since forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've been talking about that since forever. And remember, they used to deny it. And then all of a sudden they started agreeing with it. But America's doing that. Whatever it is, America's not going to let something fly around. And it's several somethings. It's not just one or two. It's everywhere. all over. People have been talking about drone here, drone there, drone there. So that's your government. They're doing something very, and they know about it because they're not going to let a drone just fly all over the earth and not do anything about it if they didn't know anything about it. So they know very well what that is. They know what's going on. Just like Trump said, he said, your government knows. He knows too, but he just ain't going to say nothing. But he knows what it is. Okay, I just thought I'd ask. Maybe you had any, hey, Rob.
Yeah.
Just was thinking if you had any,
Yeah,
ideas.
nah, because I ain't really been looking into it like that for real. But I mean, I know about it, but
Yeah,
I've been paying attention, but not really.
not, yeah.
Shouts
Okay,
out to Raw in the
yeah.
building.
I just thought you had an idea or something.
Yeah, because that's what I was like. For me, I don't know. It could be like anything, like you said. It could be like what you say. It could be just somebody doing it. Could it be the government itself, or somebody, some other government, or it could be somebody with a lot of money or something doing
But I
it.
don't think your government is not going to just allow anybody, another country's government to ship, to have drones. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're going indefinite, just going around anywhere and just hovering over, people's houses and the FBI houses and, so I don't know. I think your government, like I said, I think they know, but I do believe that they're behind it because there's no way they're going to just sit around and let this thing, just hover and fly all over the world without tearing it down or shooting it down or something. I don't. But hey, who knows? We'll see we'll see in time. I think
Yeah.
2025 is going to bring about a lot of changes, and they're not going to be for the good either. So people thinking Trump going to be this, that, and the other. I don't think so. I think it's going to be a lot worse than what we think it is now. What we think it could be. But hey, I could be wrong though. So okay.
My computer is okay. All right, I was trying to start, but it kept putting me back on mute for some reason. But anyway, I feel you. Yeah, it could be and the thing is though, like whatever it is, like we know that we gonna have to start, or we will have to be prepared. We should have been prepared. Like
Oh God, yes. You
late.
should have been prepared, honey.
Right.
Man, you should have been prepared. I
Yeah.
almost wish I had a van I could put my little extra stuff in and just have it ready. I have a truck, but I don't have a van. I'm looking at my little stuff. I'm like, man, I need a van. I should have had a van.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, people, if you're not ready, you shame on you. You still got time, but it may not be as much time as you thinking.
Right. And and the thing is, right, and for us, like that's like we need to be more proactive instead of saying like preparing. Like we need to be the ones the debate or coming up with what other people gonna have to prepare for what the hell we're doing. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem, So we're not doing that, and the first thing to do that is to be able to be in control of everything in your own community, to protect
Yeah.
your community, make
Yeah.
sure people have to pay for whatever they do in your community. They can't just come in and do anything to you, but it all starts with supporting each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we'll get on to the topic, so we talking about supporting each other, creating stuff, and also just protecting yourself, uh, and when somebody's out there actually doing something to or for our community, us having each other's back, if you know what I mean. And if you don't trust that person, and you go out there and you make it happen, and then we'll talk about having your back, you know what I mean. Now I'm gonna skip this one. This is a story of when the black community fought back, but then it turns into other stuff. So I'm gonna just play some of what this woman is saying here. to kind of go through like a brief history. So I'm gonna just skip through a couple parts.
No right to vote, no right to free speech, and very strict vagrant laws that anything that we do, any type of minor infraction can land us back in jail and we'll be sentenced to involuntary servitude, okay? So at this point, we were considered freed, but not seriously restricted, freed, but restricted. Put that on a shirt. Yeah, sure. So, a couple of prohibitions and confiscations that are on the books. Just a few of them. 1834, South Carolina prohibited free blacks from owning or carrying firearms without a special license. Special license is pretty much what we're dealing with right now within our concealed carry community. We have to go to the sheriff's department and ask for permission, right? Back then, for African Americans, we had to go to a judge, and that's where it started. At that time, free white men were allowed to walk around with their firearms all they wanted to. So understand that these laws began with us and slowly but surely started creeping, slowly but surely started creeping into the entire country, okay? In 1831, Virginia passed a law prohibiting free blacks from owning firearms or required that free blacks surrender their firearms. And in 1825, Florida even took a step further, and they allowed white individuals to do a firearm confiscation of black homes. They were allowed to go into black homes, search black homes in their entirety, and confiscate any type of firearm or any type of ammunition that was related to a firearm or any type of defense mechanisms. At that time, the government did turn a blind eye, of course. There were very little efforts to intervene in these type of actions. So imagine living in a community where you are 100% threatened by the chaos and the violence of the KKK. I'm sure we've all seen movies. It is just a snippet of what actually went on. You know, that's on the light side, okay? And not only that, when you pick up your phone, you call the police to come out, and now you're dealing with something like police brutality, okay? So not only you needed help, but the help comes and victimizes you further. There was absolutely no type of government support, which is why the Second Amendment was so important to the Black community, because this is one of the only ways that we were going to be able to protect our community as well as patrol it, okay? So as things kept progressing, the laws kept progressing, and they continued to write.
So, Cassidra, you heard that, right? So Black people back then realize, right, the only way that we're going to be able to protect ourselves is to arm and defend our own communities.
Yep.
And Europeans knowing this and knowing that that's all what gun control and all that, you know, how Black people on the Congress talking about little white kids and they're and got shot up and we need gun control. And all you see how the development of gun control works is to keep, well, as long as you Negroes are shooting each other, that's cool. We'll drop them off in the neighborhood. But the minute you turn the gun the other way, now we're going to have to do something to come. And they allow white people to just come in their house and take, well, they thought they were going to just let them come in their house and take something from them. Because what Black people don't realize is, like, we hear the stories like, oh, the KKK, as if the police ain't the KKK right now.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's no point of, like, they wasn't scared because they had, well, whether they were scared or not, they had no choice but to defend their home. So they armed themselves. And we don't understand when we really look at these stories, white people was not walking up in Black people houses like that.
No.
They was getting ran off. But what you think about that, Cassidra?
I think it sucks the way, like she said, you know, it's still being done like that today. It's not that much off today. You know, look, who in the right mind would call the police today? She was talking about they were calling police. Who would call them? I wouldn't even call them back in them days, let alone this day. I wouldn't have nothing to do with them. I don't care. Whatever it is, I'll handle it myself. Seriously, because I wouldn't dare call them for death. because that's all they bring. And then it bothers me when I see people, who loved ones have been taken and they go, "Oh, call the police." I'm like, don't you know that that's probably who has them? Because back in the day, police will let you out of jail at 12 o'clock at night in those dark streets, and you driving along, and then guess who will stop you? They will stop you, and the Klan will be with them. Please, please, honey. They haven't changed, but Black folk, because we're not being taught our history, we're kind of forgetting a little bit. So all this inclusion and, oh, my friends, and, oh, I'm all this double dating and racially dating, and you dating who you want to date, and I'm like, these people still are not safe. We can look at what's going on today and know that they're still not safe. So no. They no, they haven't changed yet. They haven't changed. I don't think they're going to. I don't think so. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
All right.
Shouts out to Kofi in the building. Appreciate you coming through. All right, I'm gonna play. I think this part, man.
So him, his brother, and his mother ended up getting beat and thrown in beating. Okay. Now, if we go back to thinking about what we seen on a Rodney King beating, how flagrant those police officers were we had choppers on them. We had cameras, we had news vans. It was a flashpoint for deeper issues within the community. It showed systemic racism. For one of the very first times within this time, it was now shown on TV. People got an opportunity to see it. Economic inequality, poor living conditions. But the Watts riot was a turning point for a deep-seated racial tensions within the United States that served as a precursor for further civil rights struggles within the urban community and further unrest. So, the Black Panther Party, now follow me. So the Black Panther Party, after the Watts riot, that's where the Black Panther Party came in. The Black Panther Party was founded in 1966 by Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale in Oakland. A lot of stuff, and even for me growing up, that I heard about the Black Panther Party was very negative. Mm-hmm. I was taught that they were not what they actually were. So the Black Panther Party actually had a lot of good programs within the Black community because the Black community did not have a lot of resources deliberately by the government. So they had free breakfast for children every morning before they went to school. They had free clinics that test for things like sickle cell and other ailments that did directly play within the Black community. They also had free clothing programs. They had free food programs. They had free busing to prison program. And the free busing to prison program, I thought was pretty interesting because when people are incarcerated, it's important that they maintain their strong family ties, because when they come home, they need to know that their family is with them, and that will stop them for further getting institutionalized. So in an effort to make sure that that wasn't happening, the Black Panther Party created a free busing program that took family members to and from prison to make sure that they maintain their connection with their incarcerated family members. They also had education. Actually started within the Black Panther Party to help the low-income women and children within the community stay. That if there was an arrest to be made, and if ticketing people, were only ticketing people. Okay. They made sure that if there was an arrest to be made, and if it was a legitimate arrest, you made your arrest, and you took that person to jail because they followed up at the jail to make sure that the person got there. The Black Panther Party was there to protect the Black community, and they did it all armed. It was with firearms that they were able to protect the Black community. It was with their Second Amendment rights that they were able to protect the Black community and keep things from going on in there.
All right. You want to say something, Cassandra?
Why are we still dealing with this same stuff today?
All right.
In 2024, still dealing with the same stuff. How do we stop it? Can we stop it?
I mean, yeah, you can. But is we willing to?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the question of the day right there. We act like we don't know what to do. After generation after generation after generation, we really act like we don't know what to do. Do we not know what to do? I think we just don't have the courage to do it. I just don't think we want to, because we know it's going to take bloodshed. We know that. That's a given. We know that. But I don't think people are ready to die for change.
Right.
And that's the sad part about it. Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, I was just saying I agree.
Blanca. Hey, Blanca.
Yeah, shouts out to Blanca in the building. Appreciate you coming through, Blanca. It's been a minute for sure.
What do you think California did next? Yeah, my next slide is an anti-militia law. Yeah, it didn't take much to guess, right? So the anti-militias, 1980, several Black militias had emerged as a response to racial discrimination, police brutality, economic disenfranchisement, and community needs for self-defense. At that time, the Black community said that we had enough. We want to get together, police it, keep it safe, and do our own thing. So you have the new Black Panther Party. They stressed self-defense, economic empowerment, and Black nationalism. They had community patrols, school programs, and political activism. He also had the MOVE organization. They advocated for environmental issues, animal rights, and anti-police brutality. Their compound in Philadelphia was also actually bombed, so a lot of their members had died. You got the Republic of the New Africa, the RNA. They sought to establish an independent Black nation in the southeastern United States. They had community organizations, political advocacy, and armed self-defense. So they did self-defense training. The Fruit of Islam, the FOI, affiliated with the Nation of Islam, they actually provided security for a lot of our civil rights leaders. They also provided community security, training in self-defense, and leadership for the Nation of Islam. So some of the key characteristics that they all have in common is that they really emphasize the importance of self-defense. Okay, self-defense. We've seen people have militias and train. So in California, any two persons who assemble as a paramilitary organization for the purpose of practicing with weapons shall be punished by imprisonment in a county jail for not more than 1 year. So what they mean is if you don't have a badge and more than one person get together, go shooting, you in trouble. Yeah, pretty much. You in trouble.
And if you have enough melanin in your skin as well, so you got to put that in, because they can go shooting all they want. They have, but anyway. You want to say something about that one, Cassidra?
And do we not know that the group, the Mirror was Black who did that? The Mirror. And I was like, what? How do we do that? How do we have the heart to do that to our own? That's crazy. They bombed the whole block. Wasn't it like a couple blocks or whatever? They lost so many houses by being bombed. And I couldn't believe that they bombed. We're talking about like in the 80s, like in 82, a whole block. And it's like, what in the world? I mean, how does that happen? And we thought that was okay. Nobody marched, nobody bombed, nobody burned stuff down, nobody did anything about that. A lot of children, 5 or 6 children, 11 adults, 5 or 6 children died in that MOVE blast in Philly. But I'm telling you, we've gone through some stuff in this country. And we're still going through it, and don't want to do nothing about it. You don't want to do nothing, at least leave. Go live somewhere else or something. It's just crazy. Because it's not going to get better for us. Yeah, I don't see it. What do you think about that getting better? I don't think it's going to get better for us. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. Go ahead.
No, I mean, it's already, but yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. Now this is the Uru movement.
Oh, yeah.
I'll play this one.
Prison time tonight for 3 members of the Uhuru movement found guilty of conspiring with Russia to defraud the U.S. government. The judge instead handing down 3 years probation. 10 Tampa Bay's Aaron Parsegian joins us now. And Aaron, this really comes down to what the judge said was free speech.
Yeah, and that was the main argument in the Uhuru 3's defense. And today, that federal judge recognized their actions were akin to free speech as they didn't physically or financially harm anyone. Chants ringing out on the steps of the federal courthouse in Tampa as supporters of the Uhuru movement and the African People's Party celebrate a victory for their own.
I just wanted to acknowledge everybody here and the power of the people.
Founder and leader Omali Yeshitela, Chairwoman Penny Hess, and Jesse Neville sentenced to just
Chairwoman. How is she the white one?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God! Please. And who was the other white dude?
Instructed by the Russian, we're instructed by our history. Our history.
The sentencing comes more than years after federal agents raided the St. Pete home of the black activist group, and after a trial in which prosecutors said they developed a years-long relationship with and took money from a Russian government operative to conduct protests, run candidates for local office, and push pro-Russian propaganda.
Untold amount of resources and focus that the U.S. government tried to bring down against the movement of African people for liberation, and they got their asses handed to them.
And while they celebrate a lesser sentence than the 3 years in prison,
prosecutors
Uhuru 3 maintain their freedoms are still under attack.
We had a lawyer who said that if this thing even goes to trial, that it's an assault, a major assault on the First Amendment.
Vowing to not give up their fight or political beliefs.
I am so honored to be on this side of history. We are winning.
Man.
I don't see no white folks talking. I'm serious. What happened? Was it a black group or what? What kind of group is it? They talk about African. They have African attire on, but I see number white folk talking. What the hell? I told you they don't come to share, they come to take over. So guess who's gonna run that group when that black dude dies? White folk again. And black folks standing around allowing it. We have gotten so, what is the word? I don't know. What is the word? We've gotten so to where we don't know the dangers anymore. We're not recognizing the dangers. And this is what happens when you allow people to educate your children, who is teaching your children that they're more safer than their own. And that's exactly what they're teaching our children, that they're more safer, that we have to trust them more so we trust our own, that they're our saviors, you know? And this is a very dangerous message. You have people telling me they pro-black and saying they can marry, you know, white women, white men. How have we come to that? You see more white in this group. I see one black man who was a leader, but the other 2 people were white speaking. So what kind of group is it? And how would they have any ties to Russia? Through the black people or the white people that was in the group? That's why what are you doing when you got all them who's speaking for who? You don't know what that white dude was doing. Maybe he was selling secrets. We don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. I'm just saying. They can't be trusted. That would be the last person I would trust. That white skin to stand in front just in case they want to shoot. I don't need them to stand in front of nothing. I don't believe in coming together with them at all for nothing. I don't need them to save nothing. I don't believe that, Blanca. I don't believe that we should be mixing and mingling with them, because like I said, they don't come to mix and mingle and share. They come to take over. And that's what I'm seeing with this group. I'm seeing the black guy, but I'm seeing a lot of white folks standing up there talking. So that looks like a takeover to me. What does it look like to you, Forecast? Maybe I could be wrong.
Yeah, and that's the thing when we be like, yo, we need, like, because what are we actually trying to accomplish? Because those white faces who I have the most problem with, the quote unquote the white person who's there to say, most times they're there to control the movement. If you ask the most liberal white dude ever, they do not want America to be destroyed. They don't want to change in the hierarchy. This is a system designed to protect them 100%, you know what I'm saying? So they are not going to go but so far, you know what I mean? And they're going to remove them, like, because we forget, like, they don't forget their whiteness when it comes down to it. At the end of the day, if something happens, they can separate themselves and be like, oh, them Negroes was tripping, you know what I'm saying? But from what I see generally, you know, and this is what we was talking about this group before, and we were saying because they got that oppress the peoples around the world and, you know what I'm saying, fight for everybody type of mindset, you know, and you see who the first one is going to get taken down, but I don't know, like, you know, that's what they said about the NAACP, and we see how that worked out, you know, like, I don't think that we should have the mindset that we need anybody to speak for us.
Shelter, no, not especially them look like us.
Right. And
even when they do look like us, we're even judging them and looking to see, okay, you know, is you one of them black folk that say I'm pro-black, but I'm married to a white man? I don't trust you either. Because you got some stuff you showing me physically that you have some issues. If you trying to come and tell me I'm pro-black, but married to a white woman or a white man, you ain't pro nothing. You hate yourself. And you're very dangerous to the black community, to the black movement, period. You got some young folk, that's what they thinking. Oh, we can, you know, mix and mingle, and I can be pro-black, and then I can go back home to my white husband and get some peace. What the hell? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. It's the absolute dumbest thing I ever heard.
Yeah, and one thing about the Black Panthers, you know, they had this coalition where they had everybody in there, and that's one of the things
that's what happened right
got them infiltrated pretty easily, you know. Even like with Fred Hampton and all of them saying power to all the people, like, you know, no, it's like power to us, bro. Like, and it's not blaming them. I'm just saying we're going off of, because now we got more information after we seen what happened to them, and then we see how other groups do you. Maybe they like we have way more access to information, so we know now not to make the same mistakes, right? So it's power to us, you know. And the thing is, like, it's not even people speaking, because it's done, not said. You know how you get them to respect you. You do what you got to do, and you don't talk about it, like, you know. But I definitely so matter of fact, let me play this one. Now he. Speaking of this, I don't know if he a part of the group, but he got it in his name. So, and he got this white dude talking about Fred Hampton's assassination. There's one thing, they make a lot of money writing these books and stuff because they have access to a lot of information where you may not, because you can go to the police and get court records and you can do that, you know what I'm saying? But it's certain, especially now, is different, you know, but before it was like they had way more access to information than generally, but now with the internet changed a lot of stuff. So, but anyway,
Fred Hampton's assassination can best be characterized as a state-sponsored assassination. That is,
no, it was the Asian dude, the Asian Panther dude. He was that FBI informant. He was the one that like, you know, we talked about a lot of this. It's not always black people that's turning on black people, and the other people it's usually the opposite. In fact, we give a lot of passes to other people, like like the Asian Panthers and all that. They was literally the ones who got them with the guns and stuff like that, you know. But and like we talked about all of this one here, you know,
people will say that he wasn't murdered.
Absolutely, Fred Hampton's assassination can best be characterized as a state-sponsored assassination. That is, local, federal, and state authorities colluded and planned to assassinate Fred Hampton, and they did so. The raid on Fred Hampton's apartment in December of 1969 was the culmination of the FBI's, the Chicago police, especially their intelligence division and their gang intelligence division, and the Cook County State's Attorney's Office that had been not only investigating and surveilling Fred Hampton for the last 3 years of his life every day, but also a concerted effort to destroy the Panthers and its leadership, to make sure that there was that the black community was divided in its approach to challenging the status quo. So
Right, all of these things don't happen in the back. They plan and think of all of these things. You know, the most dangerous thing is you know what I'm saying, black. You know, y'all know what Hoover said. That created the FBI. Literally, the FBI was created to stop to do this. You know what I'm saying? To stop the rise of a black messiah. That's the purpose of the FBI. J. Edgar Hoover made his name off of going at Marcus Garvey and creating that exact same division. And just like they were like, oh, it was a black man that did X, Y, and Z. Oh, listen, you're gonna find a black dude just like the dude holding it down, the dude in the train. You know what I'm saying? You always go see a black dude in the picture somewhere. But that's the problem. Black people is not the main players of any damn thing. Not positive. Not you are working for somebody else always. You know.
Always.
The FBI, the police intelligence, and the state's attorney's office in Cook County, like I said, colluded to plan and execute this raid on Fred Hampton's apartment. It was a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown Chicago, and in fact, it was just a couple of blocks from Black Panther Party headquarters. So it was a hub of activity of the movement itself. And Fred had only been in the apartment for a couple of weeks before they decided that, well, if you have all these people going in and out of the apartment, and a lot of them are exercising their Second Amendment rights to arm themselves, then that must mean they're stockpiling weapons. So through an FBI informant who had infiltrated the Black Panther Party, which most...
Who was the FBI informant that infiltrated them? Because I'm saying it was the Asian dude who ran the Asian Panthers and all that, you know. But of course there was other black people who, well, I don't know. But that's the one who he's talking about.
Who was the main dude that he most recently died that put the stuff in the drinks that made him sleep that night? Wasn't he one of them? I don't know his name, but he recently died. He lived a long old life. He just recently died, probably maybe 2-3 years ago, maybe 2 years, maybe 3, something like that. Black guy. I don't remember his name. God, I know what Asian guy you're talking about. He was in there too. But the other guy, the Asian and the other guy was feeding information, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the dude, he was his bodyguard and all. He was
he was. Yeah, was he a bodyguard or he was just hanging out with him, wasn't he?
Yeah. So he was in his inner circle. You know?
Okay, he was in the inner circle. Yeah,
something like that. I think it was
the one that put the drugs in his whatever the juice or whatever he was drinking and drugged him.
And
it's usually the coon of the group, but this is how we have to be careful who, especially if you're going to do a movement like this, you have to be able to vet who's around you, seriously. And it'll be kind of hard because you want everybody to join, but you can't trust. A lot of the great leaders died because of a inner circle person that was super close to them that was able to to infiltrate. But I'm just telling you, people can be bought. It's not just black people. People can be bought because, the lack of economics in our community. People, it's just very easy for us to take $1 over, take $1 over honoring your leader or your best friend or something. It's just, that's how most of the time it happens, by a friend, a best friend at that, so. Unfortunate.
An FBI informant who had infiltrated.
Because that's because that was what I'm talking about. Huey Newton. This Fred Hampton. My bad, yo. So yeah, you're right.
So through an FBI informant who had infiltrated the Black Panther Party, which a lot of us know, his name was William O'Neill, and he was profiled in a recent film by Shaka King called Judas and the Black Messiah, which. Basically outlaid the story of both Fred Hampton, the Black Panther Party, and William O'Neill. Based on information that he gave them about Fred Hampton and the apartment, they were able to know exactly who was in the apartment at the time, the layout of the apartment, where the furniture was, so that they could in fact plan this raid. So the state's attorney created this very specialized, hand-picked, tactical group of officers, and it was called the Special Prosecutions Unit. The Special Prosecutions Unit then, with the FBI's cooperation and the Chicago Police Intelligence, devised a plan to raid this apartment early in the morning. So these 14 officers that were part of the Special Prosecution Unit were able to bring as many weapons as they wanted. So they each brought 2 to 3 weapons apiece. They were allowed to bring their own personal weapons from home, which then couldn't be traced or logged or tracked, right? And they even brought a machine gun. So 2 groups of officers entered the front of the house or the apartment and the back of the house at the same time and basically converged on all of the people who were staying in the middle of the apartment. So at the time of the raid, there were 9 people in the apartment.
All right.
Because
this is another 3 minutes from talking, but and
that's crazy. That's crazy. So you look at the history of America and you look and see how what they, even with that, how they just had no evidence of anything, and you literally murdered people that did absolutely wasn't doing anything. They was asleep. Okay. And even before then, they was trying to maintain to make sure that the police was doing their jobs correctly and not, murdering black people, unarmed black folk. And then they was also feeding, right, black families, okay, children in schools. So how do you get away with that? If you're really honest about America, they have a lot of blood on their hands, and then they turn around and they'll gaslight you and make you seem like you're the terrorist. But when in fact they are the terrorists of every kind.
Right.
And that's the saddest part. And they get away with it. Even though people at the end, they had went and just revamped what had happened. And they understand that the police was the only one really shooting because everybody else was either asleep or dead, right? And they was the one that was doing all the sleeping, the shooting, right? And they pretty much, this is your justice system or injustice system. So how did it make sense? And how were you able to say, oh, it's okay, they were thugs and they was this and they was gangsters and da 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 da? But who's the real gangsters? I rest.
Right. Yeah, and y'all be right about that. Yes, there is black people who always be involved.
Always.
That they could get black people to go in there and to do certain things.
Yeah.
And so when I say like that, I'm not saying you trust every black person either. But what I am saying is, if I can't trust every black person, I'm damn sure I ain't trusting no other people to represent me. Period. That's what I'm saying. And I get it. Because like I said, right? Because yeah, there probably is going to always be a black person there to set you up, working for somebody else to do all of these things. Just like as soon as you let other people into your group, they're going to do all of these things that's their job, is to keep it mild, to keep it maintained. You know what I'm saying? But the black person, they infiltrated, they get the information, they know the times, dates, locations, they know all of these things. But anyway, let me see.
Even with that, for Cass, even with that, you make an agreement that, okay, yes, he's the leader. If something happens, we're gonna find out who did it and we're gonna take care of it. But we don't. That's the issue. We don't ever take care of the person that did anything. They live long lives. That dude, he just recently died. What, a couple years ago, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. He lived to be a ripe old man, right? Mm-hmm. But if we don't return the favor, just like Burkina Faso, you could go and take him. They've tried to kill this man 20 times. They've used his officers. They've tried to use everybody and anybody connected to this young man, right? But now what's he doing? He's saying, okay, you come over here. This is what, friends, I'm going to hold you responsible. I'm going to cut off this. I'm going to cut off this. And I'm going to do this, this, and this. And if we would hold them accountable, you come over here and hurt one of ours, we're coming to hurt one of yours. And that's literally what this dude is doing now in France. They tried another time. He got tired. He said, okay, retaliation, I'm coming. And he said, this is what we're going to do. He didn't fight. He just cut off their gas. You know what I'm saying? Now you don't get no more of this. You don't get any, we don't sell you this. So he's hurting them. And it's almost like if you don't retaliate, it continues until you die. You have to have something in writing that says, okay, if you touch this, whoever did it, we're coming. Period. I don't care who it is. And that's what we have to do in order for things to change and get better as far as our community is concerned. Yeah. What do you think?
No, yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. Because we ain't gonna get no help from nowhere else, you know.
Oh, absolutely. So why are we not doing anything? That is my $1,000 question right there. How long do we not do anything, and how long are we gonna sit there and just look, and hope somebody else does it for us?
Right.
Go ahead.
All right. Let's see.
The Black Panthers will always be remembered, but they're not just mythical figures of history. From Tupac's stepfather to the world's best known prisoner on death row, here are some Black Panthers you may not know are still in prison today. Romaine Chip Fitzgerald spent 51 years in prison, the longest incarcerated Black Panther in U.S. history. Unfortunately, after suffering a stroke, he died at the age of 71. Could these other imprisoned freedom fighters suffer the same fate? Number one, Mutulu Shakur. This 71-year-old freedom fighter and Tupac Shakur's stepfather has been imprisoned for his role in Assata Shakur's escape and a robbery that resulted in the death of 2 police officers. He was recently denied compassionate release, despite a terminal cancer diagnosis, leaving him with a few months to live. Number 2, Imam Shamil Abdullah Al-Amin. Formerly known as H. Rap Brown, 78-year-old Al-Amin is still serving a life sentence in prison for the murder of a police officer someone else already confessed to. He was the Black Panther Party's Minister of Justice and the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee's chairman, Mia Abu Jamal. 68-year-old Abu Jamal has been incarcerated since 1981, initially sentenced to death after being accused of murdering a white police officer. From behind bars, he has still written and published several books. Protesting, organizing, and even breaking the law to take action has always been and will always be a part of achieving Black liberation. These still incarcerated Panthers remind us that we cannot forget the full gravity of this struggle for our lives.
How do you leave somebody in jail indefinite? Just indefinite. Because you already had witness to say, you already had evidence that they didn't kill the police officer, right? But they still left them in jail. What, just because? But this is America. This is racist America, the injustice system.
Yeah, and that's just and there was many rioters, you know what I'm saying, and that's the thing about Black leaders. That's why we be like, where's all the Black leaders today that's not picked by them? You know, most of the time, Black leaders is not only like killed, they like try to erase them completely from history, like they never existed at all, you know.
Yep, and that's what they're trying to do now. But if we don't educate our own babies, we'll forget about them, because that's what that's the attempt right now, is to remove the books and remove the history, so that you will forget that you were even a slave. And that's the point of all of this.
Right. And it's just my thing from what I'm saying now is, like, at some point we're going to have to also learn that we have no friends, right? Exactly. And inviting other people into your movement is already hard enough with other Black people. We know this. But to invite other people in is a surefire way that you either aren't gonna. It depends. I guess we got to ask you what are your goals? You know what I'm saying? Is it your goals to create like a Black thing where we can control our own destiny, or your children can control their own destiny, or is it just to be equal and have like equality? And you know what I'm saying? White women for everybody, white bitches for everybody. And so of course we talk about Grandmaster Jay and NFAC. Let me
Do your Googles. New York State Rockefeller drug law gang. These shits is real. These laws are passed and we know nothing about is because you won't think to go look it up until some one of your loved ones fall up under it. You feel what I'm saying? So this is why Jay fell up under what he fell up under, because a lot of people didn't know about the 94 crime bill. The way he went to jail. You understand what I'm saying? Why they gave him so much time. Anything they feel is aggravated towards an officer, any kind of official, they feel is a top-notch threat to anything they got going on. They fry smaller fish for less. You understand what I'm saying? So it was just the way that situation played out. The fact that it was a flashlight on the tip of the rifle, and he just happened to pan the rifle up because he had the flashlight was on the tip of the rifle. If they're telling me someone's on the roof of a building and my flashlight is on the tip of the rifle, I'm not going to unscrew my flashlight just to take the flashlight to shine at the top of the roof. If it's on the roof, if I'm not clearly knowing it's an officer up there, don't nobody's supposed to be up there. But if it's an officer up there, I don't know this. Right. I'm thinking this should have been told to me. So if I point my, because it's not my rifle, I'm really pointing. It's the flashlight. I want to see what's up there. Just so happened the rifle is attached to the flashlight. So when I aim the flashlight, the rifle go with it. Under the 94 crime bill, we're gonna hit you with the harshest law possible. That's just how that shit kind of go, gang. Under any other circumstances, I think your brother would have been home by now, if you ask me. And I'm not saying, because what we doing, we gonna put good breath in the atmosphere. He's coming home soon, very soon. But what he shouldn't have been is in there now. But for the way they set these bills up and these laws that we pay no attention to, because we always voting for the president. You know, this is what we put our biggest focus on, voting for the president. But it's these people that pass these kind of bills, and yeah, your president stand behind them, but it starts somewhere else, gang. It don't usually start with them. You feel what I'm saying?
All right, so yeah, what you want to say?
And the saddest part about it is black folk gave Biden the highest seat, knowing that he did the crime bill. And I don't believe that that brother should have been in jail. But this is the United States, the injustice system that had to get those guns away from him, out of his hands, and to break that, because he was trying to get like 3 million gun-toting black folk to do a march, right? And they, he was, talking and he was actually doing it, and wrote a letter to the UN, and tried to complain and wrote a letter to the UN about the inhumane treatment of black people in America. So he was doing some, and a lot of black folk, some went against him, not understanding, but I used to follow him. I was right there listening, hearing, and trying to understand why they would call him an agent. And I'm like, nobody has, it was something that was dropped among black people, and black folk ran with it. And I'm like, these are people that had never followed him or didn't never listen to what he had to say, that was said, oh, he's an agent. I'm like, how are you an agent? Well, but it was so crazy though. But I still was, trying to, follow just to see what was going on and what he was really talking about. And he wasn't talking about no white folk and all, it was black and black. That's how when he wasn't talking about that multicultural, colored people, and we gonna have the white folk and the black folk, he wasn't talking that noise. No. No. And eventually he was trying to, talking about moving out of the country and moving black folk out of the country. That's eventually what he was talking about also. But yeah, black folks get their own freedom sometimes. Man, you gonna get us killed. And he was like, you already dying. What do you mean I'm gonna get you killed? You're already dying. You haven't noticed? But let's, we gonna die. Let's die for our freedom instead of, just, dying just because, so. With that, I rest. I tell you, should never been in there though. Not this long.
Yeah,
and he's been in there longer than some police officers that kill black folk, like Kim Porter. She got what, 2 years? Oh, okay. I'm just saying.
All right. And you know, and the thing is, right, because you know, we always gonna find something negative or whatever. And like even like the brothers before, the Uhuru brothers, you know what I'm saying? Like now if they doing something so like for black people, like I still support them brothers as far as that. Now I just don't agree and I'm not with the multiculturalism stuff, you know what I'm saying? And it's like we'll have a conversation about it, but like if they doing something to liberate black people, I would support whatever that specific thing is. That now if we talking about liberating Israel or whoever the hell else, I don't care, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about like Arabs, you know what I'm saying, or Mexicans or anything like that. It's none of my business. Now we talking about black people,
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
And the thing is, right, I don't agree with that, so I have to now do something that I feel like is the right thing, right? Now, if you don't agree with this brother Grandmaster Jay, you know, like, well, then you should be doing something to replace that, you know, just like for me, if I was to say something about them, like, okay, so now I need to try to do something to be in that lane, you know what I'm saying? And even when I'm saying that, it's not to talk down about it. It's the point is to be like, yo, we got to stop trusting thinking other people is going to have our back, fighting for everybody else, thinking that love, like we can love our way out of it, but then looking at it ourselves and each other and find the first thing to down each other about, you know what I'm saying? We can't wait to find something to say, oh, well, I don't trust, you know, as a black person that did this, we all like, I can't stand when people be like, oh, we our own worst. No, the hell we're not. You know, what are you talking about? Like,
that is so dumb. Where did they get that from? That's some white supremacy stuff you're talking about. When people say we're our own worst enemy, I'm like, why do they say that? Where'd you get that word from? You know, trace it back. Some white folks said that. Y'all your own worst enemy. Shut up. No, you are our own worst enemy. Because we were fine by ourselves. Just leave us alone.
All right. And so these is a bunch of different black self-defense groups. This was like where they were supposed to be coming together and doing something.
Black Power to one of our newest organizations out of Houston, NARR. Also members of the Huey P. Newton Gun Club as well. Salute. What we came here today to do, y'all have a seat if you want to, man. Take one knee, have a seat, hydrate. What we came here to do today was show honor to our ancestors. It wasn't a march. It wasn't a goddamn parade. We were here to honor our ancestors. You got in America up in the politics of the game. They don't want to teach the truth.
Yeah, you know, I do know what needs to be done. And as if we willing to do that, you know, before. And so speaking of that, you know, let's just go to the last part so we won't be on here hella late.
When black people say they're anti-gun, it raises a lot of questions in my mind. And the overall question is, why? Because in my mild yet humble and entirely accurate opinion, there should be 0 blacks who are anti-gun. But it's not that simple. In this video, I'll explain why every black person should be pro-gun. Then we'll circle back like Saki. Now, before we get too deep in the weeds, we need to make sure we all have an understanding that a firearm is a tool. Just like a bat, a knife, a sword, or bow and arrow, it doesn't have life. Whatever it's used for solely depends on the human being who's using it. So let's fast forward to certain points in history where blacks got fed up, for lack of a better term, with how they were being treated and decided to fight for freedom, autonomy, and justice. You had the Haitian Revolution in 1791, where enslaved Africans began a massive rebellion against their French masters. One of its most prominent leaders was Toussaint Louverture. They did this successfully with guns. There was also the
It was really Dessalines. So we got to, not to take away, but to give credit to Dessalines for not wanting to be French and have, you know.
Turner Rebellion in 1831. Nat Turner was a slave and a preacher who believed that he was chosen by God to help liberate his people from slavery. He had about 70 people join him in his rebellion, and they went from plantation to plantation, freeing slaves and deleting slave owners with guns. While the rebellion only lasted a couple days and Turner was eventually captured and put to death, it became a symbol of resistance against slavery in the United States and had a significant impact in the abolitionist movement leading up to the Civil War. Speaking of Civil War, everyone thinks it's cool that Harriet Tubman carried a pistol on her on rescue missions. And she also carried a sharpshooter's rifle during the Civil War. She's so strong, they say. She's such a role model. What about the Maroons of Jamaica? They successfully escaped slavery and fought against British colonial forces who also had guns. And they won. Since both sides had guns, it was the Maroons who proved victorious.
It's funny how many times you would slaughter them until a black person did sell you out, right? But sometimes, right? But it's amazing how, like, and you know why? Because a lot of times they felt sorry for a white person and wanted to tell them to like leave or get out of town or something. And then that white person would go back and tell, and then everybody would get killed in the town. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If it got that far, you know.
Hey, Anthony and Bakari.
Yo, what up? What up, Anthony? What up, Bakari?
Victorious because of their guerrilla tactics and knowledge of the terrain. Think about that for 1 second. The British forces were considered to be more skilled and better trained, and the Panthers advocated for the right to armed self-defense, emphasizing that black citizens had the constitutional right to bear arms and protect themselves like everyone else. They also carried guns openly in California. But you know, people in positions of power couldn't let that slide. So let's touch on that part. The not letting it slide part. Because the whole time these things were going on, many people in positions of authority did not want blacks to have access to firearms. Consider this. Why would people who run the city, county, state, region, or country want to give power to the people they also want to maintain power over? They wouldn't. That's stupid. HarvardLawReview.org has a pretty decent essay on gun control laws that were put in place because of black people, not black and brown people. We're not talking about them right now. Stop including everyone in black people's business. For example, in Dred Scott versus Sanford, Chief Justice Roger Taney argued that one reason black people couldn't be citizens under the Constitution was that it, quote, would give to persons of the Negro race the right to keep and carry arms wherever they went. Dang, that's crazy. Why would you not allow that? Martin Luther King Jr. was denied a concealed carry permit even after his house was firebombed. Dang, that's crazy. Why would you not allow that?
Martin Luther King tried to get a gun, and that's considered. They don't tell you that.
How the Reverend gonna get a gun?
And Martin Luther King got strapped up, and he hired black people who was armed. You know, like the Deacons of Defense. You know, and people like that who protected marches.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King said, "Let me go get this. Let me go get this gun permit." And you don't got no excuse, you know.
I saw Cornell from Fordham University, which reads, quote, great. Now to wrap up, this video could have easily been 2 hours long, but the point of it is to make you think. Think about what you're advocating against. Think about what you're resisting. Think about the people who want your vote and blatantly say they won't be helping black people. And they also want to revoke your God-given right to self-defense, the same right those before you fought so hard to get.
All right. And so you have
the years, they have seen a spike in black women toting guns. It's her first time holding and firing a gun.
It's my birthday, so I want to do something different that I never done before.
Kiana Rivas learned the ropes and stepped into the range. Now, she's among a growing number of black women interested in guns or owning them. This after Rivas says in many African American households, guns are seen as the bad guy.
My mother, she don't play. Not even water gun. She don't want no water gun, no gun in her house.
A study released this month shows Black women have become the largest group getting concealed carry permits in Texas. While it's difficult to find hard stats, since most states don't track race or gender, local gun salesmen say they've definitely seen a spike.
And I have seen quite a few Black women looking for guns also, either thinking about buying one or actually in the process of making a purchase.
They're probably buying it for protection, to be honest. That's what I think. So, that's why I would buy a gun, for protection.
If you look in the
happens, I can protect.
Yeah, so what you think about that, Cassidra?
I totally agree. And you'd be a fool today in this day and age not to have something. You'd be a fool. And you still have some fools walking around these Americas gunless. And I remember when we were kids how they would line up to turn their guns in. And I'm like, what are they doing? That made no sense. I said, you never saw white people in them lines. I'm like, okay, they have a turn in your gun day, but it's Black people. I'm like, are you guys freaking stupid or kidding? What's the problem? You used to always see that, and I never understood that. I'm like, why are you doing that? I don't see no white folk giving up their guns. And then they in a Black neighborhood. What? Why don't you go after the white folk? That's the ones got the guns, for real. You're going to take the little guns that we do have. Them dummies was giving them up to. I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, yeah, I was done.
Yeah. And, speaking of that, I wanted to show you this brother page. He got a page called Guns and Gardens.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's talking about, for one, how to grow, how to harvest and grow,
Did you know your skin is the largest organ?
Different crops, Let me see.
We will dive into a crucial nutrient.
All right.
Potassium encourages the development of strong roots, helping plants absorb water and nutrients more effectively. If you want juicy and flavorful fruits, potassium is your friend. It enhances fruit size, color, and taste. Even in tough conditions.
All right, so he got that, but then, he's...
Today, we're building a $500 arsenal from brand new firearms. Each of these firearms has their unique strengths, making them excellent choices for anyone looking to stay within a budget. Stand by, y'all.
So these is the best guns for about $500.
First up is the Mossberg Maverick 88 pump action shotgun.
Nice.
This shotgun is known for its affordability, its reliability, and its versatility. With a sticker price of around $200, it's a fantastic home defense,
yeah, that's nice,
and tactical use firearm.
Not bad.
The Mossberg Maverick 88 is compatible with Mossberg 500 accessory stocks, barrels, and AccuChoke tubes.
I try to get through it.
It's of use.
Very nice.
It's very simple to operate and maintain, making it a great option for beginners.
That's not a bad price.
Next up is the Ruger LCP, a cost-effective firearm that is compact and lightweight, chambered in .380 ACP. I have recently seen the Ruger LCP priced at approximately $179.
Okay. So people can't say they can't afford them.
I seen this one. I'm trying to.
It also includes a flush mount magazine finger grip extension floor plate, as you see here.
All right, so
Next, we have one of the most cost-effective firearms, the Rossi RS-22. The Rossi RS-22 is a semi-automatic rifle, chambered in .22 long rifle. I have recently seen the Rossi RS-22 priced at approximately $120.
Oh, I like that.
The Rossi
I may have
RS
to get one for Christmas, huh?
it's an excellent choice for hunting.
Yeah, because I was gonna say though, for hunting is good though, you know.
Hey, that's not bad.
But that's if it worked for like, but I don't know if you want to get $122 one, but I don't know, it might be good.
Hey, I mean, I love them. I love it.
And with proper shot placement and volume, it could be a pretty formidable self-defense tool. The Rossi RS-22 is equipped with a comfortable and ergonomic here. It's fully adjustable. And it has a orange hood. So that is my $500 budget arsenal.
That's nice.
So, you know, that brother's channel is called Black Guns and Gardens. So he's talking about growing stuff, firearms, you know, safety, all that type of stuff, you know. So shouts out to that brother right there. This brother had one. I know a lot of people probably don't like this dude, but it ain't about
Around magazine. Name another PDW that's a small and lightweight and has every other factor that I just listed. The closest thing you're going to come up with is probably going to be the flux. But that's a chassis system for a 6-hour handgun. Albeit it's one of the best.
That's really low.
Let's say gun that I've ever seen.
That's really low.
Chassis system nonetheless.
Okay.
There is the 7, but you have to go to one of those secret Diddy parties and do weird things to get one.
What the fuck?
Before you finish watching this video, 767 today. With the stock or brace folded, a loophole Delta Point Pro, and a mini Surefire Scout Light, and a Unity tactical button, the TP9 is essentially the same size as my 12-inch iPad, and that's what they say by Brown Magazine. That is insane. I don't see how the TP9 isn't considered one of the best civilian PDWs on the market, which is a concept I stole from one of the channels that I like to ninja watch called Brass Facts. He's done multiple videos on the TP9, and those videos are what pushed me to get one of these things and see for myself. There are 3 things that don't exactly help the TP9's case for being the best civilian PDW. One of them is the price, second is the suppressor, and the third is the trigger.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I know that's going to have to be
expensive. The trigger on this is not good. It is long, heavy, and squishy, which actually makes sense considering it's a trigger designed for full auto fire and not rapid pulls of the trigger from people who aren't allowed to own the full auto versions, which is called what? The M9? Nonetheless, the trigger is not good. However, the more rounds I pump through this gun, the better the trigger becomes. It's almost at a point now where
All right, so anyway, because you want to say something about those ones?
Oh, I like very nice. Ooh, very nice. I was trying to see. I'm like, rifle or shotgun? Rifle is probably the best, right?
You said for a home, yeah, probably a rifle. You know,
yeah.
But whatever you can do, but yeah, probably a rifle. I'm not opposed to handguns though. Me myself personally, I just say get one for your thing. Like for a woman shouldn't have like a full 5 or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because it's like I shouldn't have it for real. The kickback is too crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it just depends. Like I said, and then it's easier. I think in Virginia you got to get a concealed permit, so you can have a gun, but you got to have it shown unless you have a concealed permit.
Yeah.
And so, for concealment purposes, especially, you never know what could happen. I think you should just get as many as you can, and then stock up on ammunition. Because, like I remember, like I said, in 2020, last time it happened,
ammunition was terrible.
Yeah,
like, talking about $35-$40. It was terrible. Like, man, but yeah, now is the time to get it. Now is the time.
Yeah, because they had I remember they called it an ammunition shortage.
Yeah, right. you know, they pull that stuff off the shelves. You know that. Tell me the ammunition shortage, please.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was hard to get it, and then they was also trying to take people guns away, like that January. I remember that.
I remember that. Like whatever.
Yeah. So.
And white folk wouldn't have it. They was like, you ain't coming over here getting nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna take an act of God to get them guns away from crackers.
Right. So, but yeah, and all in all, though, man, like, look, so you have every right to defend yourself. You know what I'm saying? You have every right to go home and to teach you want your children to come home. Like, forget that, like, crying and all that stuff later. And, you know, we want you to come home and we'll figure it out from there. You know what I'm saying? We'll deal with whatever we got to deal with. But, you know, like, we should be having the mindset of, like, no more casualties. The problem is, like, we already have so many casualties. Our body count is like in the billions by now, you know. So, like, at this, like, what do we have to be afraid of? You should have self-protection. That's the one thing we want to learn from America. The one part of being American is self-defense. Then practice it. Then, you know. Yo, Cassidra, before we get off here, I want to show you a couple of things. Like, one was,
and I just want him home.
We brought this up.
I just want him
before.
home. He doesn't deserve to be in there.
21-year-old William Marcus Wilson has been in a Georgia jail since mid-June. He faces charges of felony murder and aggravated assault for the shooting death of a teenager. His family doesn't deny that he pulled the trigger, but his sister Chelsea Burnett says there's more the system should consider.
He was truly scared for his entire life.
MD2 say looking into some pump action shotguns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That'll blow somebody away, you know.
Whoa, awesome.
Yeah.
She says her brother feared for his life when he opened fire on a truck of white teens the morning of June 14th. The car's driver was allegedly trying to run Wilson's car off the road, while others yelled racist slurs, according to his sister.
He had a right to stand his ground. He felt like his life was threatened, and I 100% believe that.
A gunshot killed 17-year-old Haley Hutchinson, a passenger in the truck. Burnett questions why her brother, who is biracial, is accused of murder.
Oh, now he biracial. He ain't black no more. He ain't black now.
Oh, wow.
That's
yeah, he's biracial now, huh? Okay.
If he were white and his skin showed that he was fully white, he would not have ever been put in handcuffs.
It's a case drawing attention to the small town of Statesboro, Georgia, and bringing scrutiny from civil rights groups over who stand your ground laws protect. Hutchinson had been taken to the hospital with a fatal gunshot.
Now, this white girl, I think this is her, she sat up there and testified against him.
Yes, that was his girlfriend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember hearing that, and she said she didn't hear nothing. That's how them crackers stick together. Y'all keep messing with them snow bunnies.
She set up there and
I
said,
don't feel nothing. I don't feel nothing because my thing is we told you not to date them women. And that's the only, and then they out late at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning eating, getting something to eat or whatever. And they out riding. Why are you out riding that late? You already know how they are down there in Georgia. You already know. So she testified against him that she didn't hear them say anything out the window racially. So they're gonna always stick together. And then what that's telling me. So whether they said it or not, she stood her ground and stood for her own, didn't she? Okay. But y'all say ain't nothing wrong with dating them.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep on dating them then.
She threw that biracial out the and they was calling her the N-word lover. They was saying you N-word lover, you know.
Oh, they had threatened her. She already knew she was in trouble. She already knew you with him too. We'll take you out too.
Yeah.
Well, he did what he had to do. He saved his life. He lived another day. Period.
Yeah.
It'll come out later when she's older and she'll be, I did hear something. You know how they do when they're about 20 years down the line, she old and raggedy looking, and then she'll come, well, you know, I did hear something. Oh shoot, man, that's y'all keep messing with them mentally ill snow bunnies.
Right. And Bakari said pump 12 gauge is the best for home defense and great for close range. And yeah, a lot of people that's into it and know what they're saying often say that, the 12
I don't
gauge.
want close range. I don't want nobody to come up on me. I want to be able to get them from cross street. What do I get for that? I don't want nothing close range. Oh, what is that? That 12 gauge is what, $150? Not bad. Don't buy expensive Mossberg. Oh, Mossberg is nice. I like those Mossbergs.
Yeah, but yeah, you never know because they might be in your house. They might be attacking you. So like it might be some close stuff without you even having nothing before you can even do anything about it. So
I want me a nice one. A nice one. I like that little pump. 12 gauge is best known for home defense and great for close range. Okay, I'm just saying I don't want them up on me though. I just want to be able to shoot them way across the street. I don't want nobody to get close enough to touch me. High price because of name. Yeah, Mossberg. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and yeah, definitely Mossberg. But he said MD Mossberg.
You paid $175. That's not bad though.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
I like that. That's a good price. I like that. I need one of them in my life.
Yeah. I think, like you said, I think every home should have one, but I also believe
should have several, one for each room.
Right,
I get
right.
it. One for each room.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And don't have them bullets in the drawer and your gun is underneath the floor. What the hell are you doing?
And when you gun safety, you teach the children how to use it. You know what I'm saying? So and it's not a toy and you don't play with it, but they know how to use it.
My granddaughter, we go shooting all the time. You have to. We have to start taking our children. You see more Black women. You don't see a lot of Black men. I see more Black women, and you see a whole lot of white folk and their children. We talking about 6-year-olds shooting guns. 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds. So yes, they are training their babies. So we the only ones that don't. I never see any kids, Black kids there. I always see older. Young girls, 22, 23. But I never see any little brothers there, 6 to 7-year-olds. Never.
Yeah.
That's the sad part because if somebody's home, doing a home invasion and your little brother's there, have you taught him what to do, how to take the safety off? Have you taught them what to do? I taught you have to teach anybody that's with you. Look, if you see me on the ground and you see that I can't get to mine, you need to either take the safety off and do it, or what I'm saying? You have to teach. We have to teach our children. We cannot be afraid of that conversation. Period. You don't need to be the only one in your house that can use that weapon, that candy bar. How about that? You cannot be the only one. So if you have other people, it's even 10-year-olds, 14-year-olds, you still have to teach them. 6-year-olds, you still have to teach them what to do. This is what the safety is. This is how you take it off. This is what you need to do. You can't be afraid to teach them this because they may need it when they may need it. Somebody like you talked about the home invasion. Okay, they may have the ups on you. Okay, they know where it's at. Do they know how to operate it? Do they know how? You know what I'm saying? So we can't be afraid to teach that.
MD2 said another important issue is physical self-defense and carry spray as well as a blade. Right. Yeah. You want to be in shape, right? Because if somehow you ain't able, you want to be able to sustain yourself. Now, I don't know if people ever did exercising or training, do some like 3-minute round. Boxing is 3 minutes. Do an exercise for 3 minutes, every whatever, and then go for 3 minutes. And 3 minutes is a long ass time. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you.
It sure is.
Especially when you're doing certain stuff. Right. But if you repeatedly do that, you'll be able to have some type of stamina in case of anything happening. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely do want to have stamina and and like you said, a spray or some kind of knife or a blade or whatever it may be. Hell, anything for real. You want to keep stuff And damn, I don't think I got it up.
Jordan Neely might have been alive if 4 people wasn't on top of him, including a black man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if he had been trained, yeah, he's right. You know.
And then the little killer was invited to a football game with your president. Remember that? So 2 convicts, a convict and the murderer, was hanging out together this last weekend at a football game. They invited a murderer, to a football game with him. That was the worst thing ever. I don't understand stuff like that. How is it that, but this is who they are, and they don't lie. When a person show you who they are, you believe them. You got your vote. Now look, he went right back to his old shenanigans.
All right. Yeah,
there's no reason Neely needs to be walking around anywhere. Right. And I'm gonna tell you what about that school shooting. Every time they don't do what they're supposed to do with us, regarding us, there's always a school shooting. Beware. It's gonna be another one, because that one was for Daniel. The next one is gonna be for Sonia Massey, that murderer that got out of jail. That's twice. That's 2 shootings. So we're looking for one more to happen. Just take note. Every time they don't do what they're supposed to do by us, a school shooting happens. And that's what today was about. Or yesterday, sorry.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. Last week when we was on here, like at the end of the thing, you did say, "Yo, watch, there's gonna be a school shooting."
Didn't I told you.
You did say that.
I told you it's got to be one more. And that one's gonna be for Sonia Massey. Every time they don't do right by us, that's what happens.
Well, yeah, and they're violent savages at that too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and then their children are savages too.
Mm-hmm.
Them demons go from family to family, members to family members.
Yeah, but speaking
because that's who children they are.
Yeah, and speaking of that, because being in physical condition, because you never know what could happen, because they are violent, so you want to be in this position. Now, I said I was going to show this one last week too, because I want to play this one for y'all as far as our last video.
Let me do that.
Look. See, every time we watching one of these, there's always a Negro in the shot somehow in the damn video.
Ways.
In the 1700s, there was a black person in the drawing because there weren't no cameras. So when they drew it, it was a black person helping. But anyway, so let's enjoy this.
Always. You did see that, right? Who's behind? You did see that, right? Who's behind her?
Yeah.
Yeah. She should have got her behind toe up too. Should have got her behind toe up.
Speaking of being in physical condition.
Look. Okay, you're in.
And that girl was suspended. Remember, the white girl was suspended already.
Damn. All right, that's a no. That's all we need to see. She was suspended.
Get your imagination. Yeah, she was already suspended. Now, what was she fighting up there? What was she up there fighting for?
She had no business.
You can't handle the kitchen. You can't handle the heat. Get out the kitchen. Don't even come in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm. Her parents probably somewhere on meth somewhere.
Exactly.
Doing who knows what. And she up there trying to be violent and got what happened. That's just what happened.
And got what happened. And did you see all the white folks who had collected money for her until they found out she was dating a black man? I'm like, oh my God, they are so petty. So petty. Oh my God.
But low key, I wish black people did that. Like, if we realize, oh, you doing some whatever. I want my money back. You got a white husband? Is your husband white?
Exactly.
Give me my $1 million back. Damn it. But anyway.
Exactly.
Oh man. So let me try to get off of here. Anyway, Cassidra, this was definitely a good one. I think we definitely learned a lot today. Oh, my good brother MV2 popped up. What's going on, my brother MV2? What's going on?
Oh, just enjoying the conversation. I'm not going to keep you long because I know you're fixing to get out of here. So, yeah, I just wanted to say, I just got back from the gym again, and these folks are training like there's no tomorrow. I see a lot of our competitors, our enemies out there doing a lot of boxing training, and I'm glad you brought that up earlier. I see them doing a lot of MMA now, and the folks that I see doing more MMA than anyone are white females and Hispanic females. I don't call them women, I call them females. And I see them doing, a lot of MMA, grappling and stuff like that at gyms. They got major classes. And the reason I say that, like, I'm trying to get folks to get more physically active. One is because, the so-called American diet, that what it's done to us, number one. Number two, a lot of us, because we're around our computers, we live a sedentary lifestyle. So what happens is we're not moving enough. We're not getting that blood flowing and stuff like that. Number three, as I posted in the chat, Jordan Neely would be alive today. Okay, without a doubt. Because the little Peckerwood that killed him, the murderer, he literally, he was probably 90 pounds soaking wet. Okay, George Floyd would be alive today if George Floyd had mentally trained, because George Floyd was, 4 times bigger than Derek Chauvin. It was just his mindset was that of someone who was, subjugated. Had he mentally trained, he could have, destroyed Derek Chauvin with 2 blows. That's how big he was. He was a fit brother. So I'm always trying to tell our folks, what happens if your gun jams? Okay, what is your backup? What are you going to do? Because when I'm walking out at night all the time now. I don't care. There's all kinds of I run into situations. It is what it is. But the thing is you have that confidence saying, "Oh, I'm strapped." I've got it. I've got my iron with me. I'm strapped. But what happens if that confidence right there? If you got a gun jam and you got somebody that's coming after you, and because there's a lot of mentally ill individuals out there right now that don't care. Where's your confidence going to go? What are you going to do next? If you're you got to be physically ready to always have your head on a swivel. Number 2, carry another backup. I'll tell you now, what they call bug spray out in the joint, in the gel. That's what what was called bug spray. If you got some of that, and always carry a good blade. I go nowhere without that. Okay, because we don't have open carry out here. As far as I know. So you want to have a backup. Okay, you want to have something to where, because it's only going to get crazier. Because I don't know if you saw the thing with the brothers that were dancing on the train, and the little Peckerwood white boy goes up there and get off my train, and he throws the brothers off the train. I don't know if you saw. You might have played that earlier. It's only going to get crazier and crazier. And to what Sister Cassidra said about this. I don't even want to say the cracker's name. The one that killed Jordan Neely, and the fact that he was invited to a football game. In other words, they're celebrating their Hannibal. No, I don't even want to use Hannibal. They're celebrating their Ted Bundy. But here's the kicker. To me, that's a good thing for Black folk. And a lot of folks will be, how dare you? I know, I understand. I understand that from folks that are domesticated in mindset. Anytime that we could see more and more of our enemies being our enemies, the more and more we could start being for ourselves. The more and more we could start looking out for ourselves. So I look forward to more and more and more, of their killers being celebrated by them, because that's what they do. A skunk always stinks. I don't want to make it smell like French roses. Okay. So the more and more they could do this, the happier I am, because that'll make it a lot easier for even the Black folks that are sitting on the fence. It'll make it a lot easier for them to, if they make that judgment to kill a cracker, they would not actually be, wouldn't second guess, because then they would get off that fence and do the right thing. Anyways, thank you guys. And I just wanted to go ahead and chime in, just to make sure you're physically fit. Hotep, y'all.
Thanks.
No, yeah,
and yes,
definitely.
I did see that video with that white dude on the train, and they charged him. He thought he was going, handle them Black boys. The one he pushed off the train, the other one pushed him off because he was attacking his friend. But they end up charging him. But he thought he was going to get away with something. But them brothers wasn't having it. They weren't having it, and that's a good thing. That was a good thing that we saw. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fact. And And yeah, I appreciate you for coming on here. And yeah, bringing that point up, because and that you do want to be physically fit. You know, our diet is already terrible, and everything, like you said, like even in this society, and the only time we up and moving around is when we like working for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? That's not everybody. But like before, my brother Black Magus had the walk challenge. You know what I'm saying? And I suggest everybody, like at the minimum, at least go walking, you know what I'm saying, to increase your health and stuff like that, you know. And we're gonna talk about that on future stuff. So, but yeah, you want to say anything else on it though, Cassidra?
Oh no, I'm done. I just hope everybody is getting ready. Don't wait till the last minute. Prepare. We do these shows to trigger your memory to know that 2025 is going to be a year to remember. I do believe that it's gonna, we already see some things being put in place with this distraction, but I do believe that it's more, and your government knows about those. And I talk about the drones too, and I do believe that your government knows exactly what it is. You're not gonna have stuff flying around America and you not do something about it. So they're getting us ready for something, but and we'll know, sooner or later. But we just have to stay focused right now. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And I'm trying to bring up the close out with it, because like we said we was gonna do last week, but I think they be moving this stuff off the internet for real.
Mm-hmm.
And my computer is like messing up. I don't know what the hell is going on. All right, so I'll just play what I can of it. That's my last words. If it come up, if not, forget it. All right. All right, here we go. My bad.
There you go. Boy, that was a great commentator, wasn't she? I love her. Look at boy, they getting their asses beat down. What's she going in the water? What they gonna throw her in the water?
There we go. There we go.
With the water. They need to get that one in the green too. Throw her in there too.
Now look at this. Now, if black people form like this, you see, this would be the world, and this would be us. And this is what will happen.
Oh, don't you come? Oh, there you go. I love it. There you go. Come on, y'all. Don't stop. Don't stop. Oh, there you go. Kick her. You should have never jumped up in there.
Yeah. Get in their ass. Oh, look at the bras. The bras dropping their ass.
So you get, I couldn't get the other video, but y'all can see down there a chair is being thrown around. Yeah. So
oh my God, that is my favorite video. I love it, of the year, the favorite. I love that video. Yeah. I love it. We should see more of that. We should see a whole lot more of that.
Yeah, it was, a good day, I guess.
Yeah, it was a good day. That was one of the best days we've seen in a long time.
Facts. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you for coming on. I appreciate your time with Cassidra and y'all support Cassidra and everything that she's doing. We're gonna definitely have to talk about Realm in the Bush and everything that you're doing.
Absolutely, anytime. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we might have to, unless something else come up, we might have to do that one on the next one because you're doing some great things. So, yeah,
absolutely, anytime.
Yeah. So shouts out to MG2 for coming on here. Shouts out to Bakari, to Guy, my brother Anthony, to Blanca, to Raw, Kofi. Shouts out to Erica, Matron, and Bitter Medicine. Shouts out to everybody. I appreciate y'all. And as always, we have got to start standing for something, or we're gonna keep falling for anything.
Peace, family.